I mean,
yeah, the scam.
I mean, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so, you know, but I didn't even, you know, so, I mean, I want to hear what other people think, but I just, you know, I just think like that if we're going to try to talk about loss of soul, you know, that's an immediate, first you have to, like, you're trying to put, I think it's difficult to put men and maybe women have a soul, but they're so different, I think it's hard to put them, to have a discussion about loss of soul, to put men and women together is difficult.
No, I like it
because it's like, because I don't think you're trying, I think you're being generous. I still think you're being generous to saying like you're almost like saying like in the past women had more of a soul, but because of abortion.
Well, okay,
I'm calling bullshit on that.
No, but here's the thing.
They were always fucking.
No, but here's the thing. No, but here's one of my things is I present ideas to a general population, right? And so people can only learn things in a certain order sometimes. You know, they have to learn like, oh, this, then that, then this, and they can kind of eventually they get strong enough they can see more truth, right? You know, and I think a lot of guys just can't really handle truth that much. So I do take a soft line sometimes in an attempt to get them to the state where they can see more, right? So, you know, although I would say this, I think the killing of children is one of the worst things you can do. So I would say that whether there's a soul or whatever, that soul, the business aside, there is a coldness and a laughter at you for caring about anything that you get from modern women today. About love, about children, about family, about you know, upbringing. There is a callousness to women today that didn't exist before. Now one of the things we learned back in '91 was that it's all fake, right? But the thing is, being fake is good enough. That's what I learned. This is going to sound crazy, but like Japanese women are taught from the day they're born how to be feminine. And I'm serious. Like, that's why you can't go to Japan and become a Japanese girl. There's too much to learn. No women can attempt that. I've met a few girls that are Asian, Chinese. They have an Asian background. They got a lot of background. They can easier pick it up. Western women have a difficult time in Japan. Everything they do is kind of awkward when they try to act Japanese because it's so feminine to the core. Every movement of their face, of their mouth, their hands, their feet, the way they stand, the way they walk, the way they put on their clothes, the way they do their hair, the way they smile, the way they blink their eyes, everything is feminine. Like they're trained. It's like a huge polishing school, Japan, for females, right?
Right.
And so I would, you know, I was digging on Japanese girls, and I had a lot of Japanese friends, guys, that I'd be hanging out with. Like you knew some of them. You remember Ju, the Japanese guy?
Yeah. His
name was actually Ju, J-U-U. It was a very unusual name. It was usually June, J-U-N. But Ju and there was a few other guys we used to hang out with, and they would tell me, they'd say, you know, Japanese girls are the best at wrapping presents in the world. You know, I'd say they're pretty. You know, I'd say they're just better at wrapping things than other girls. They're more meticulous, more perfect to wrap that present and do the bow, which is their body and their clothes, right? And their behavior, right? And they're like, it's all fake. And I learned a lot from my Japanese friends because I realized when you watch a Japanese woman, the minute she gets married, has a kid, she cuts her hair off, starts talking
it's like
in a lower voice.
It's like an alien spaceship came and took your nice, pretty girlfriend away and left behind like some creature.
A Japanese girlfriend and a Japanese wife are completely different things.
Right.
But as long as you understand Japanese culture, it's fine. As long as you're part of the culture and you can go live there and have other girls, which is totally fine in a Japanese marriage, as long as she doesn't lose face. You know, you do it the right way and you play along with the game, it's all fine. But if you marry one here who came from there and she goes into that, it's not fine because you don't have any other ways to, there's not the Japanese man way of making it okay, right? So it becomes false advertising to the end, right? But anyway, they would tell me that, and I said, I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Like when they would get really angry, they would start speaking in a lower voice, and everything, But I finally had to say to them, I said, you know what? Sometimes when you fake something long enough, it's part of your personality, and it's good enough for me. If the girl is very feminine with me and acts feminine with me, and I am fine with it. Like even long term, I know that she could break character, but at the same time, if she respects me, a Japanese girl, she'll keep in that character most of the time. Whereas if she doesn't respect you, fucking ice cold right away, fucking hair off, fucking you're just like this workhorse, Sadaigo me, big garbage getting taken out, it's like pretty harsh, right? So I think that although there was no soul, as long as they pretend like there's a soul enough, and you know what I mean, it's enough for me.
Right. They know how to look like they have a soul.
Exactly. As long as they act like that enough, play along enough, it's fine. But they're not playing along. Like now, you got no soul, and you got people that are outwardly laughing about killing their own children.
Right. But
like, think about it.
Anyway, let's talk about men who kill women and children.
No. That's talked about. This is
right there.
No. Because this is
the focus on women and whether or not they have a soul or not. Or
no, not necessarily the soul, but the thing is, men have been. Whenever a man does anything that's negative, it's been dissected in a million ways. Women always get off.
Well, yeah. Well,
that's the reason why we talk about it. It's not that they're worse. It's that they've always gotten off. And they've always gotten breaks. Like if you look at the statistics of driving infractions, men get more infractions. But if you talk to any police officer, if you have any friends in the force, ask them. And they'll say, well, I let girls go all the time if they flirt with me.
Of course.
But then what happens is they let them go. It's just one-on-one, right? The problem is guys all over the world do that for everything. Infractions, they let them go. But those are statistics that are kept. So at the end of the day, when you look at the statistics, men look terrible in the statistics. And children are being taught the men are terrible.
Well, here
because they say, well, look, it's proven right here. And it's proven that women are better drivers. You can see the numbers right here. The men have more tickets. Whereas accidents, I'll tell you a story right now. I was in Shimoda after you left. Yumi was driving my car, the BMW. She fucking, you don't know, you must have still been there. Yeah, she fucking put it in reverse, thought it was in drive, and she plowed into the Yakuza guy next door and smashed his car. Were you there that day? She fucking caved. He had that Vitz that he had, that Honda Vitz, or whatever it's called. It was new. She turned it into a fucking compressed accordion. And he came out, and he's like, oh. And then he goes, don't worry. He's like, I got a garage that can take care of this. He never charged her a penny. And it must have been at least, it was at least $15,000 repair at least. And he took care of it, no problem. He never asked her for anything. I mean, he was a mafia guy. He had guys who could fix cars. He probably just got another car. But anyway, if it was a man, he would have called the police.